Das ist mein Glas, aber das ist meine Tasse. Hörst du den Unterschied? Can you hear the difference? Let's start off with the question, what is a possessive pronoun? Was ist ein Possessivpronomen? Possessive pronouns are telling us something about belonging. So what belongs to whom? Wem gehört etwas? What belongs to whom? Using a possessive pronoun, I could, for example, say, this is my phone. In German, das ist mein Handy. This is my phone. Or I could ask, is this your book? Ist das dein Buch? Is this your book? One more example, this is her bag. Das ist ihre Tasche. This is her bag. When trying to learn the possessive pronouns, first of all, we have to repeat the personal pronouns. Be careful, don't mix them up, possessive and personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are usually the first pronouns that you learn in your German course, and we use them for conjugating, for changing verbs. So let's take a quick look at them. The first person singular is ich, which means I. Ich. The second person singular is du, which means you. Du. Third person singular, er, es, sie, he, it, she, er, es, sie. And these are the personal pronouns in singular. Now let's move on to plural. First person plural is wir, which means we. Wir. Second person plural is ihr, which means you, but as a group, like you all. Ihr. And third person plural is sie, sie. Here we have two different z's. Z with the small letter s means they. Sie, they, and z with the capital letter S means you, but in a formal way. For example, when you are speaking to somebody that you don't know that well, or somebody who is older or some kind of superior, then you would use this formal sie, you formal, sie. Okay, very good. Now that we have repeated the personal pronouns, we can move on to possessive pronouns. And here it is really important to remember, for every personal pronoun, there is a possessive pronoun. In English, it is actually really similar. In English, we have the personal pronoun I. The possessive pronoun for I would be my. Then for the personal pronoun you, the possessive pronoun would be your, and so on. And it works in a similar way in German. So let's take a look together. Starting off with the first personal pronoun in German, ich, which means I. The possessive pronouns that we use here are mein and meine. So this is different in comparison to English. As you can see, here we have two forms for possessive pronouns, mein und meine. The difference is in the ending e. why do we have these two forms and how to know which form to use when. There is a really simple rule to follow. When using a possessive pronoun, you will usually combine it with a noun. You have to look at the gender of your noun. So you have to ask yourself the question, is my noun masculine, feminine, neutral, if it's in singular, or is my noun in plural? Depending on that, you will decide if your possessive pronoun will be used with this additional ending e or not. And the most important rule here to remember is if your possessive pronoun is used before a masculine noun, like der Vater, and before a neutral noun, like das Kind, it will not have the ending e. Then we would just use, for example, mein, not meine. But if you are using your possessive pronoun before a feminine noun, like die Mutter, or before a noun in plural, like die Kinder, then your possessive pronoun will need the additional ending e. Meine, meine Mutter und meine Kinder. Let me give you some examples. I could say, das ist mein Vater und das ist mein Kind. This is my father and this is my child. Also, das ist mein Vater und das ist mein Kind. As you can hear, we do not use ending e. We are just saying mein because in these examples we are using a masculine noun, Vater, and a neutral noun, Kind. So we do not need the ending e. But now listen to this. Das ist meine Mutter und das sind meine Kinder. This is my mother and these are my children. Das ist meine Mutter und das sind meine Kinder. In this case, I need the ending e because in these examples, I am using a feminine noun, Mutter, and a noun in plural, Kinder. And this is a rule that we are gonna follow with all the other possessive pronouns as well. So let's just take a quick look at them. Du, which means you. The possessive pronouns for you are dein and deine. Both would be translated as your. Dein und deine. Please remember, dein will be used before a masculine noun like der Vater and before a neutral noun like das Kind, and deine will be used right before a feminine noun like die Mutter and before a noun in plural like die Kinder. So let me give you some examples. I could ask, ist das dein Vater und ist das dein Kind? Is this your father and is this your child? Ist das dein Vater und ist das dein Kind? Or ist das deine Mutter und sind das deine Kinder? Is this your mother and are these your children? Ist das deine Mutter und sind das deine Kinder? Moving on to the third person singular, er, es und sie, which means he, it, and she. Please be careful when it comes to these persons because here I hear a lot of mistakes all the time, so please pay attention. For er and es, again, meaning he and it, we actually use the same personal pronoun, sein and seine, which means his or its, sein und seine. Let's assume we are talking about a man that we know and we are speaking about his family. So we are saying this is his father and his child and his mother and his children and so on. In German, we would say, das ist sein Vater und das ist sein Kind, meaning this is his father and this is his child. Das ist sein Vater und das ist sein Kind. On the other hand, we would say, das ist seine Mutter und das sind seine Kinder. This is his mother and these are his children. Das ist seine Mutter und das sind seine Kinder. So please do not get confused here. You will use this possessive pronoun sein und seine mostly when referring to a male person, when you want to say that something belongs to a male person. The same rule grammatically applies. If you are using this possessive pronoun before a masculine and neutral noun, you will not need ending e. But if you are using this possessive pronoun before a feminine noun or a noun in plural, you will need the ending e. Sein und seine. And the last pronoun we have here in singular is sie, which means she, sie. The possessive pronouns that we use here are ihr und ihre, meaning her. Ihr und ihre. You need this possessive pronoun when you want to say that something belongs to a female person. Let's imagine we are talking about a girl. Her name is Laura and we are just speaking about her family. In this situation, we would say, das ist ihr Vater und das ist ihr Kind, meaning this is her father and this is her child. Remember, we are speaking about Laura. Das ist ihr Vater und das ist ihr Kind. And then we could also add, das ist ihre Mutter und das sind ihre Kinder, meaning this is her mother, Laura's mother, and these are her children. Das ist ihre Mutter und das sind ihre Kinder. So please remember this. When you want to say that something belongs to a female person, you will use ihr or ihre, but if you want to say that something belongs to a male person, then you would use sein und seine. Okay, so now we are done with the possessive pronouns in singular. Now I think that you understand how the possessive pronouns work, and I just quickly want to show you the rest, meaning the possessive pronouns that we have in plural. Let's move on to the first person plural, which is wir, meaning we. Here we use or need the possessive pronouns unser und unsere, meaning our. Unser und unsere. Das ist unser Vater, This is our father. Das ist unser Vater. The next one is ihr. Be careful, the personal pronoun ihr means you in terms of a group. You all. Ihr. And the possessive pronoun that we use here is euer or eure. Please be careful. Here the pronoun itself is changing, not only the ending. Euer and eure meaning your, but as a group. For example, imagine that you are speaking to some kids. There are more of them, and you are asking those kids, this group of kids, is this your mother? So the mother of all of these kids. In German, you would ask, ist das eure Mutter? Is this your mother? Ist das eure Mutter? So euer and eure is always used when you want to say that something belongs to a group. And finishing off with a third person plural, which is sie. Please be careful here as well, not to get confused with all these sie forms. We have 3 sie persons, sie in singular, which means she. Then we have sie in plural, which means they. And then we have this special sie form with the capital letter S, meaning you formal. What you have to remember here is that all of the sie forms will use the same possessive pronouns, which are ihr und ihre. So whenever you are using the personal pronoun sie, the possessive pronoun will 100% be ihr or ihre. The actual translation of the sie forms or of the ihr pronouns really depends on the context. The context is telling us if we are speaking about a female person or about a group, or if we are speaking to somebody in a formal way. So yeah, for some students, these matching forms are making this easier to remember. For other students, it is making the whole thing a bit more confusing, but you just have to get used to it. Let me give you some examples, starting off with sie in plural, meaning they. The possessive pronouns here are ihr und ihre, meaning their. Ihr und ihre. Das ist ihr Kind. This is their child. Das ist ihr Kind. So imagine you are speaking about a couple and you want to say that this couple has a child. It is their child. So we would say, das ist ihr Kind. And one more example for the big C with the capital S. Here again, we would use the possessive pronouns ihr und ihre, but just written with a capital letter as well. Ihr und ihre meaning your. But when you are speaking to a person in a formal way, ihr und ihre, let's imagine you are speaking to your boss, a person that you have a formal relationship with and that you are addressing with you formal. You could ask him, ist das Ihre Mutter? Is this your mother? But in this formal context, to you he is a superior and you will not use the regular you will use the formal you. So you are asking, ist das Ihre Mutter? Is this your mother? Ist das Ihre Mutter? We already looked at some examples while explaining the possessive pronouns, but at this point I want to give you some additional ones. Let's start off with the first one. Das ist meine Familie. This means this is my family. Das ist meine Familie. Please remember, Familie is a feminine noun, die Familie. That's why we are using the ending e with our possessive pronoun, meine Familie. Let's move on to the next one. Ihr Mann, mein Opa Oliver. Meaning, her husband, my granddad Oliver. Ihr Mann, mein Opa Oliver. Here we are using the possessive pronouns without the ending e because they are used with masculine nouns. Der Mann, meaning man or husband, depending on the context, and der Opa, meaning granddad, are both masculine nouns. Third example is das ist unser Hobby. This is our hobby. Das ist unser Hobby. Hobby is a neutral noun. Das Hobby. So again, we do not need ending e. We would just say unser Hobby. Our hobby. And we have one more, a question. Was ist euer Hobby? What is your hobby? But you as a group, imagine you are asking a group of people, what is your hobby? Was ist euer Hobby? Neutral noun, no ending e, das Hobby, euer Hobby. And guys, this is it for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss my future lessons that I make for you every week. Also, if you have any questions or video suggestions, so any topics that you would like me to talk about, don't hesitate, leave them in the comments down below. I am really looking forward to all of your questions and your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. I really had fun making this video for you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and good luck with learning German. Auf Wiedersehen und tschüss!